Hello, everyone, and welcome to this wonderful new show. I'm so excited to have you with me. As always, I am going to bless you with not just one phenomenal brain, but two today, because I have another wonderful guest with me. And today it's the exciting David Strausser, and I have been to his show as well. So please, if you haven't done so yet, go over to his Shark Bit Biz podcast and check out all the episodes because they're amazing, but obviously look for mine. Anyway, who is David? So he is the host of the smash hit small business growth podcast, Shark Bit Biz. He's also a member of the Forbes Biz Development Council, a Harvard Business Review Advisory Council member. So I'll be tight with him, believe me. And he's also a general manager of the Northeast region for Vision 33, CEO of his media company, Dead Brands LLC, and a notary public. Just small things to brag about. Now, most importantly for you guys, though, why did I invite him on the show? Well, having worked in tech for most of his professional life, David has focused on helping companies drive profit with the right technology. And I could talk about this all day long, but we'll have half an hour and I will grill him. Believe me, I want him to dish it all for you guys. He is a master at sales, always a good thing, marketing and business development. And he uses those skills to help guide customers in the small business arena to find the right technological solution. These experiences and creating business growth in the roaring 20s stands as the foundation for his business podcast, the Shark Bit Biz. So David, welcome.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for having me. You forgot one big thing in the introduction. You forgot about the book that I wrote called We Mean Business right here. And
that seems familiar, this one.
This is your book. I'm sorry. Taking credit for your work once again, Christine.
Smooth. I appreciate it.
But thank you so much for coming on. I love when I get to collaborate with other like-minded individuals that have a show that, it's similar, but it's different than mine. We cover different topics. We have different personalities, but it allows me to get outside my bubble to see what other creators and bright-minded people like yourself are doing to spread the word of small business growth.
Exactly. And what I love about it is because we both interview so many different people, it helps us to learn so many things. And you've been doing this for a while. So I cannot wait to get your wisdom here, because ultimately this is really about someone who's listening to this podcast should be able to just have a pen ready and write down all this good stuff, because there's always something to learn. Now, for you, you have a topic that I'm very passionate about, that I like, but I know a lot of business owners or organizations, they start out because they have a purpose, or because they have to, or because they have an idea, but not necessarily because they are so excited to implement it. And tell me how you started to focus on technological solutions for these small businesses. Was it rather because you saw they struggle, I like technological solutions, or was it I like these solutions and actually small businesses seem to be the one who need it the most? What happened?
I guess it's a little bit of happenstance. Okay. So technically, I view myself as a Zennial, but technically, if you ask my boss, there are no Zennials. I'm a millennial. I'm an old millennial, as he says it.
Me too. Just like, I don't identify as a millennial, but I am just about a millennial. Yeah.
That's where you would probably be considered a Zennial, because of the fact that, we grew up analog, half analog, and then somewhere in the 90s converted to digital and blah, blah, blah. But the big difference is the Great Recession, at least here in the stateside, that happened 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I was still feeling the ramifications of the recession out here. And, by then, people my age, we were out of college. A lot of us had family and kids, all that stuff. And we really went from making good money and, money stored in the bank accounts to having nothing overnight. And I view that difference, whereas if you talk to some younger millennials
Mhm.
at that time, they were just getting out of college, they
Yeah.
didn't have families, they didn't go through the strife that we just went through. And I view that that's a generational divide between older millennials and younger
Okay.
millennials. And that's why I'm a big fan of Zennials. But anyways, back to your point is, you know, I love technology. I knew that, and this goes back. I went to college later in life, and I only went because after the Great Recession, experience it was no longer valued.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to sell cell phones? Well, you need a college degree
I
now,
know.
and
It's like,
it's like
what?
I've been doing this for like 10 years. It's okay, whatever. So I went to college. I went for information sciences and technology, but the big difference is that, like, yeah, I could be a developer, coder, programmer, project manager,
Mhm.
IT manager, all those things. But I actually went because I wanted to be able to sell tech. And I felt having a degree in that will give me a foot up against the competition. Because again, back in 2012, everybody was looking for their job. An employer had like a billion candidates to choose from. They could be very picky, polar opposite of what we're experiencing right now in the United States. And the degree in information sciences technology, having that tech background, and then you mix it with, wait, he's like, yeah, he might be fresh out of college, but he was working through college and has 15 years doing business development and sales experience. That's really what got me on the path that I am on
Mhm.
today. And why small business? It's because I suck in front of boardrooms. I mean, I'll be honest. I've never been good with the bureaucratic red tape, or if I have to, yes, I can pull off one sales. I'm doing it right now. We're doing the largest deal I've ever done, which is be about somewhere between 15 to 25 million dollars when it's all said. It could be as high as 30 if they go with everything for the US, China, and London. Could be as high as 30 million. But um, I'm going through that. I can do it when I need to.
Yeah.
I shine up pretty nice. But where I found that my bread and butter is, and again, this is just going through the experiences that I've had in life. You have to find yourself. And I found when I'm in a smaller business, okay, my voice isn't going to be muddied in the water. I
Yeah.
don't have some colleague that's trying to stab me in the back and jump over me. They actually listen to me, they value my experience, they do what I say, because what I say is usually contrary to what normal people would say, but it works because it's creative, it's new, it's outside the box thinking. And in these days, that's what you need to be successful, because look how many ads there are. I mean, there's a million ads out there. You've got to be different. And being different, being corny, making people be like, oh my God, I can't believe he just said that. That's been my key to success. And it works in a small business environment better than it does in a corporate, more buttoned up suit environment. That's how I specialized in that.
Wonderful. I think it makes total sense. It's similar to what I'm doing as well, mainly with small businesses, working my way up to bigger businesses as well. Um, but it's also a different, and I'm doing it right now because it's interesting. I'm currently changing my website because I completely ditched coaching and really am focusing on consulting. And it's geared towards, the solopreneurs with their freelancers or organizations, smaller
Why did you do
organizations.
coaching? Did you do it because it was the hot thing to do during COVID? Everybody turned into a coach during COVID or
I was
started
always
selling
a coach.
sales books.
So I started with sleep coaching, right? And I've always been a coach. And I
Mhm.
think, honestly, I'm very good at coaching. It's something that I enjoy doing. But I also think it's something that I inherently just do well, always have. So,
Right.
but in order to coach, I think I like doing it with people that I like, people that I love,
Yeah.
people that I want to truly serve, because you have to create quite a
That's
bit of.
always a bonus.
There's always a bonus, and it's important when I do it because it's very personal, though. And I create
Mhm.
space, and I have to be honest, right now in this period of life, I don't have the patience. It's very simple. I just don't. I'm in a vibe right now where I like to get things done, totally thrive with streamlining SOPs, getting system done, connecting different softwares, getting it all working together. So I was like, because during the pandemic, I got tired, very tired. And coaching made me even more tired versus business building. I was like, I
Right.
get energy from. So it was very easy for me to say, actually, there's so many people who love to coach, who are great at coaching, but actually, no, I'm too fast at this point. It's not my
Right,
rhythm
right,
right
right.
now.
Right. I
So,
just want to add, I talk with my hands too. And many times during live interviews, I smack the microphone as well. So I'm told that's the Italian in me. I don't know if that's true or not, but
it's the
I
Colombian in
talk
me, I
with the
guess.
hands. Yeah, I talk with
Yes.
my hands. I whack the microphone all the time, and then it's like, oh crap,
Whoops.
steady out. Yep, yep, yep.
So if you guys didn't see it, head over to YouTube and you can see me whacking my microphone here as I'm talking. I just can't
yeah.
not talk with my hands. I don't know. It's just something that
Oh,
goes on.
believe me, they don't have to go to YouTube. They heard it. That was a huge thud. Yeah, but
Oh,
uh,
jeez.
uh, but yeah, I mean, you're talking on the topic of coaching. I mean, I like coaching. However, I only like coaching when I know that they're going to buy in and listen to me. So typically the only people I'm going to coach are going to be my sales reps because
Mm,
I know that they're either going to do what I say or they're not going to be with us for very long.
yeah.
And a great success story would be this young man, Michael. I think he is 28 or maybe he just turned 29 in that range, but he was 28 when he started with us. And he really stank. Now, when I said that he was green to our industry. We do
Yes.
much larger sales cycles. They're bigger deals. He was used to small software, but he's also brilliant. He's got a degree in accounting. He is not an accountant per se, as far as a CPA would be concerned, but he understands the language, understands the lingo. Like we were just at the New Jersey CPA Expo this past week, this past Wednesday and Thursday. And, I'm surprised, like he's there going toe to toe with accountants as far as, oh no,
Yay.
QuickBooks is better. And he's like, oh no, Sage is better because in QuickBooks, you do it this way. We do it this way and it's GAAP compliant. And to hear him do that in person was amazing because a year ago, he couldn't do that. A
Yeah.
year ago, he had no sales. And, it would be funny. Like we'd be looking at Sales Club. And I remember during one of our sales meetings, he'd be like, hey, David, how come my name's not on there? Like, did they forget to add me or something? I'm like, well, Michael, you actually have to sell something to get into Sales Club.
Yeah. Bless him.
and, and, and everybody just burst out laughing. And, it was like zing, now he's our top sales guy globally for Sage Intech, not for all the business lines because our Sage Intech deals tend to be smaller. Okay. Our business one deals, for example, they can go from very small 25K. Typically it's going to be 100 to 300,000 deal, but we do get 500,000 to $1 million deals on the regular. I'm working on personally, like I told you, that'll be somewhere between 15 and probably 30. That's normal. Then we got our by design practice as well too with Vision 33, which will work with more of the middle market businesses. That's probably going to be, I mean, maybe 250, 300K would be the starting point, but that would have to be a very, very limited basic system. You're realistically looking 500K on up to get into that environment. So where he's at with Sage Intact, I'm very pleased. It is polar opposite where he was last year with
Yeah.
us, but it's that growth and evolution. And it's because of the coaching that I've given him. He's also worked with another VP of ours that has given him a lot of coaching, especially because I was out most of Q4 with some back surgeries. I
Mm.
couldn't do it. This VP was like, I really like Michael. I
Yeah.
don't want to fire him. I'm going to step in. I'll take over those duties for you. So between both of us tag teaming him, we were able to get him from zero to all-star, because he was a hot seat. He had closed 2 deals quarter. He closed 2 deals plus Blueprint, which is a blueprint is a paid engagement where we go in and we'll study your
Yeah.
business and then we'll give you, hey, this is our recommendation
Like an
on all
audit.
your business processes. Right. Right. We'll audit your business. Okay. All your business processes, we'll diagram it out. And then this is our recommendation of how you would automate
Yeah.
this in Sage Intech. Do you want to go forward? So you got a couple of those signed. Plus, he had some full-blown deals, got off the hot seat, had a huge deal in Q2. Now it's like,
Wonderful.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So he's totally turned around, but that was due to, you know, it's more than me because I can coach, I think, anybody on sales, on business development. It comes down to the individual and
Mm-hmm.
the execution. And this is why I did not get into coaching or launch a coaching business and I just went straight podcast, was
Mm-hmm.
because I felt not enough people would actually execute
Oh, I
on
love
what
that.
I am
Yes, I
coaching
agree.
them.
I
They would not execute. I need people to be executing, or else I feel like
agree.
I'm going to be wasting my time. And then it's just like, what the heck am I doing? Like, I'm
I
done. I quit.
totally agree. I have
Like,
it
you've already quit
actually
on me. Stop showing up and going through the motions. Actually do it or don't. In or
exactly.
out. You can't, as we like to stay here, you can't be half pregnant. Okay. You're
Yes,
either full blown pregnant or you're not pregnant. Okay.
exactly.
Pick one and let's do it.
Exactly. I agree. And I actually added one line on one of my pages and I said, coaching, manifesting, mindset, all of this is great, but ultimately you do need a strategy like the blueprint that you have. And most importantly, you need to execute it because I see a lot of people then get overwhelmed and paralyzed and they don't execute. So they have all these strategies in the drawers. Now, question for you. You obviously work, or one of your zone of genius is to guide people for the right technological solutions. So, as I see it, there's two different components to this. Obviously, you need to have an arsenal of technological solutions that you know. And secondly, it's to find the right fit for the right person. Tell me a little bit about how you honed that
Yeah.
skill, or if I'm right or wrong, tell me a little bit about that process.
Okay. So as far as the customer picking a solution, what I tell them during my presentation, and my sales reps love when I jump into their presentations, interrupt them, and just start rambling weird stuff. But I tell them, hey, look, okay, there are 2 ingredients for a successful implementation. Okay, as you're going through this sales cycle with us, and honestly, it might not be us. We might say, hey, look, you're not the right fit. There's a lot of times we tell customers, like, yeah, I can sell it to you, but you're gonna hate the software and you're gonna hate us. And I don't know why, but people for some reason want to buy what they can't have. Oh,
Mhm.
you're telling us it's not a fit? That sounds like the
That's
perfect
exactly
solution
what
for
I
us.
want.
And
Yes.
I want 5 of those. Let's do it. But like I come out and I tell them, or you might guys may decide that it's not the right fit, and that's perfectly fine because my job as GM is to make sure that you get the right fit because let's be honest here, I hate being sued. So I've got to make sure you're the right fit for the software. And it comes down to 2 major components. Okay. The first one is the software itself. Do you have the right solution? Okay. It's very hard to find a solution that's going to do 100% everything you need outside of the box. but you have more things than not that are with our solution. Usually, I would say, with add-ons, stuff like that, 80-90% probably pretty good. I mean, it could be core business one, maybe you're at 60% or something like that, but then you add in some add-ons, fills those gaps, and then all of a sudden you're at 90%. So that's kind of an acceptable range, I think, for most people. Now, the second ingredient, which I feel is most important, is the partner. Okay, we in our lingo, I guess you could say, we call them VARs. Okay, it's the VAR network, the value added reseller, and they're the people that will look. SAP doesn't want to sell to small businesses. It's way too expensive, and you're just another fish in the pond for them. They want to sell to the Fortune 100 businesses, and then they pawn off the small to mid-sized business deals to people like us, which is why we're number one globally doing what we do for SAP. But it's the same with almost every publisher, whether it's SAP, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Oracle, whether it's Sage. Now, yes, Oracle and Sage do have some direct sales teams, but those roles are kind of getting more diminished as the partner networks grow. And you need to make sure that you have the right partner, okay? Because it comes down to, if you do not have the right partner, you can have the right software and you're going to have a failed implementation because you're going to have a vanilla system that doesn't work for you. So you have to make sure, just as you're vetting the software, that your partner, your VAR, is also the right fit, and the project team. I mean, don't be afraid to be like, who's going to be working on the project? Who's in charge of your professional services? Now, I will tell you, if they're like us, they'll probably give you a line that's truthful, which is, hey, you know, I can kind of give you some details on who we have working on our team, but I can't commit anybody to your project until you've signed contracts and you paid for software, because otherwise then we allocate resources, contracts get pushed out for 3 months, and I have people sitting on the bench doing nothing, just costing me money because they're not billing on projects. So that's how most of our companies operate, and it's just, operating lean. You want to make sure your people are as utilized as much as possible, but they can give you like, hey, look, this is generally who we think should be available, but this is our director of professional services. Everybody on the team rolls up to her, and ultimately every document, everything that is going to be presented to you gets reviewed by this person. And that's how we operate. We like to make sure that they have the warm and fuzzies, not just on software, but also on Vision 33 as a company and as a whole. And, this journey can take anywhere from, I've closed deals in as little as 6 days, but realistically, I mean, you're probably looking at 30 days to 6 months. I mean, we've had sales cycles that go on for 2-3 years, and that's always
No, I
hard
get
because then
that.
it's always like you do the reset button because so many people have changed over in the company that you have to start re-demoing again and all that other fun stuff.
All right. Yeah, but I think it's also something that might sometimes be intimidating, for companies to invest in. And it's, you hear so many different things. So I think the point that I really feel here is to make sure that people know they will be taken care of past the contract signed, and also to really step up to that. Because that's my next question from there. How much of your business is then referral based business? Because I assume, you have a certain product, maybe you delivering this service. What would you reckon?
Well, it depends if they hate us or love us after they go live.
Well, I assume everyone just loves you. I mean,
you got to remember, in the software world, if somebody tells you, oh yeah, all our projects, we never have any issues, they're lying. Software is a beast. Now, I'll tell you, a majority of our projects, like probably 90-95%, do go on. They're on time, under budget, no problems. And that's because Vision 33, being as large as we are, number one in the world with SAP's small business sector, we do have enough staff in place that's able to monitor, do the checks and balances, and be like, no,
Yeah.
no, no, this is off track. This needs to go red escalation. We need executive meetings and we got to fix this, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt, that we have those type of auditing people, but they're there for safety checks, okay? And that will prevent the projects, going off, because the biggest, I would say the biggest competitor that we have is the no decision. And the no decision oftentimes comes out of fear, the fear of the investment, of the commitment, of making the money. And that's where my job as a general manager for the region, or even the director of professional services who rolls up to me, okay? That's where her job also comes in, to where we're there to give them the warm and fuzzies, to make them feel good that, yes, the sales rep, his job is to sell and move on. Melissa, my DPS, myself as the general manager, we're constant. You, unfortunately, are going to be stuck with us forever. Okay. And I've got to live with whatever the sales rep sells. So trust me when I say we're trying to make sure that he sells you right, that once we go into blueprint, if we're saying that it's going to be 400 hours to implement now, that it's not going to creep up to 1200 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe, because you never know everything until you peel back all the layers of the onion and you do a full
True.
blueprint. We try to do as good as we can during the scoping sessions, but until we do the blueprint, it's impossible to give an exact quote. But we've done so many projects that are of so many similar companies that our estimates are usually pretty right on. So if we say that it's 400 hours, yes, we might end up doing the project in 360 hours, or maybe they forgot to tell us something that was mission critical and we had to do a change order and we end up doing it at 415. But usually, like I said, usually there's always an exception to the rule. Usually that number doesn't change from 400 hours to
Yeah.
5, 6,
Yeah.
700 hours. Usually what'll happen, I'd say 80, it's the 80-20 rule. Okay. 80% of the time, if their quotes change from X amount of hours to 1.5 or 2 times, it's because maybe they're, I don't know, maybe they're a winemaker, let's just say. And then they're like, we're doing the implementation or the blueprint to give them their finalized hours to do the actual implementation. Then they're like, hey, we have a strawberry plant field over
Yeah.
here.
And we want to
Okay.
add that,
We need,
obviously.
right. We want to add, we want that's included, right? And
Yeah.
then we're
It's
like,
like, no, no, no.
no, you're a winemaker. You never told us you had strawberries.
Yeah. No, I
So
think that's
that
how it goes too. It's
that is usually what happens in 80% plus of the times. And sometimes, yeah, a sales rep misses something that was said during a sales. You got to remember, they're
yeah.
dealing with so many clients, so many details. They have a lot of notes, a lot of recordings, but you can't implement a full system during a sales cycle.
I
And a lot
agree.
of customers forget that. They're asking for a tailorized, customized software solution. And then they're like, oh, you're able to demo this during the sales cycle. It's like, no, I can do as good as we can, but you're going to have to use your imagination on some of these
Yeah.
parts.
So looking at someone who is a small business, and small business is why there's also a difference between small business and small business. But let's say we have a solopreneur who is, taking off, they have their freelancers, and they're interested in stepping it up and implementing, taking a software like this to really help. How, and this is my last question, what would you suggest that they should implement as early as possible in order to prepare to have an as amazing blueprint as possible, if to have done the prep work? What do you see sometimes?
I mean, in the States here, most people would start off with something like QuickBooks, and from QuickBooks, then when QuickBooks doesn't work for them anymore, that's where then they end up looking like at Sage Intacct or SAP Business One, depending what type of businesses they do. A lot of solopreneurs probably would end up more in the Sage Intacct space than in the SAP Business One. SAP Business One would be more for people that make or move products, okay? Whereas if you're looking just for straight financials, that's where Sage Intacct is going to be the path they want to go down. But I will tell you, it is cheaper. I mean, each one of those products at the most basic form is going to cost you probably $20,000 to $25,000 US dollars to implement the basic solution. And then you have the software costing on top of that. And one user for both of them, I mean, it's like 100 and something a month for one user. And, so you have some options there. I will say that it is a lot cheaper to grow organically with a software solution rather than get stuck in a corner because you've waited so long and you've outgrown your solution. And now you're stuck, you're forced, your business is a wreck, you're losing money, you have mad returns because you can't deliver your products, or you're delivering the wrong products to the wrong people. That's the situation that you need to avoid. So once you get like, okay, I can do a basic implementation, and if you make or move a product, put 25 to 50K in for that number for implementation costs. Okay. And then, a couple hundred to maybe 1,000 or two for software costs. Once you get to that level that you can spend that, invest it as early as possible. Earlier is better because all of these solutions are meant to grow with your business. So it's not like you implement something and then you're stuck with it forever. No, you can add more users. You can add more functionality. You can put on more nuts and bolts as your business grows. So earlier is better because then you can do it organically. And over time, it's going to give you a much lower cost of entry than if you wait until you can't put it off any longer. That's where you're going to end up spending $300,000-$400,000, right?
Yeah, and you've done your mistakes. Right. Well, this has been very enlightening also to see your process. Thank you for talking about your coaching, what you can prepare for, basically what you do and what you guys are working on right now. This has been very, very helpful. And people, don't forget to also check out David's podcast because it's very practical as well. And I have all your social media handles are on the show notes. So head over to christinemeansbusiness.com/blog, where you will find David's episode. You have the video there, you have the audio there, and you also have the notes and all the links that you can click. But if you are only listening right now, then if you type in David Strausser, David, D-E-A-V-I-D, Strausser, S-T-R-A-U-S-S-E-R. You will find him on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And if you type in Shark Bit Biz, you will find him on Facebook and on YouTube. So make sure you do all of that. Reach out to him. Tell him that you found him through Christine Wins Business. And also ask him about what he's doing, if he can serve you in any way. And nothing to fear. He's absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
So
I will tell you, I'll add in, if
yes.
I'm not the right fit for you or whatever you're looking for, I will tell you, and I'll hook you up with industry friends. that'll put you in the right direction.
Exactly.
Thank you, Christine, for having me on your show. You rock. You are amazing, and you do mean business.
I do indeed. Thank you so much. All you guys out there, we will be back in 2 weeks' time with another guest. Have a wonderful time, and don't forget to subscribe, to like, etc., etc. And feel free to stalk me on social media. Until next time, thank you, David, and bye-bye, everyone.
Oh, thank you, Christine.